Hi, and welcome to The Bottom Line. The Bottom Line is the weekly summary of the sermon that's preached at Bethlehem Church in Austin, Minnesota. I'm Pastor Paul Steele. I'm the senior pastor at Bethlehem Church, and we've been doing a sermon series in the book of Galatians. And this book, which is written by the Apostle Paul, and it's probably one of his earliest, if not earliest, of the letters that he wrote to different churches. And so he wrote this letter to a group of churches that he started in the province of Galatia. And Paul went there and he preached the gospel. And part of the message that Paul preached was that everyone can be included into God's kingdom, be part of God's global family, receive the blessings of this inheritance through their faith in Jesus. It no longer depends on being a Jew or following the law. No, it depends on putting your faith in Jesus. Now, Paul established these churches with that message, and after him, it appears that there's this group of Christians that came after him who were called the Judaizers, who put a lot of emphasis in the law and circumcision and becoming a Jew, becoming part of God's chosen people. And they basically said, no, Paul has it wrong. You have to become a Jew first. You have to practice circumcision. You have to observe the kosher food laws. You have to observe the Sabbath and so on, in order to really be part of God's global family, in order to really begin to follow Jesus. And so Paul hears about this and he writes this letter to correct that teaching, to say, no, this is the truth. And so Paul has made this argument. He's said, see, first of all, my gospel is not made up by me. No, it was approved by the church there in Jerusalem. They gave it the thumbs up. He said, it's been confirmed on you through the power of the Spirit, because you received the Spirit when you believed the gospel, not when you started following the law. He said the purpose, then he goes on to talk about the purpose of the law was to make Israel a distinct nation from their neighbors, to prepare the way for Jesus. And last week we looked at in Galatians chapter 4 that Paul uses this emotional argument. He says, remember when I was with you and how you took care of me and how I was sick and you watched over me and I was your friend. So what's made me your enemy now? I still have this great concern for you. And in the text that we looked at on Sunday, Galatians chapter 4, verses 21 through 31, it appears that Paul's kind of wrapping up this argument phase of the letter, and he does so by making an analogy between Sarah and Hagar and the two covenants, the old covenant established at Mount Sinai and the new covenant established by Jesus. And he says that if you follow the law, you are a slave to the law. So you're just like Hagar and Ishmael. And if you follow Jesus and you find freedom in Jesus, then you are like Isaac, who was born from Sarah, the free woman. And then he goes on to say, and who persecuted who? Well, Ishmael persecuted Isaac because Isaac was the son of promise. And you're being persecuted by these Jews because you are the people of promise. And what we learn, or the big idea from Sunday's message, is this: we are Abraham's true descendants because of Jesus. We are descendants, we are part of God's global family. We are Abraham's true descendants, not because of physical lineage, not because of the law, but because of faith. We imitate the faith that Abraham has, and we believe in God's promise and the promise that God gave to Abraham. And so we become like Abraham, and Jesus makes us righteous. So we become Abraham's true descendants because of Jesus, because Jesus is truly the promised one. And so we put our faith, our trust in him. And our challenge this week is to be kind. Find ways to bless people this week. See, Paul used that analogy between Ishmael and Isaac and said, hey, Ishmael persecuted Isaac, and you're being persecuted. So we don't want to be, we who follow Jesus don't want to be the persecutors. Instead, we want to bless. We want to love. We want to be gracious to people. Hey, thank you for being part of Bethlehem, and thank you for watching and following us. I want to encourage you to remember to subscribe and follow the stuff that we're doing. Hopefully that it's a blessing to you as you in your discipleship, as you follow after Jesus. And make sure that you connect with us on Sunday mornings here on YouTube or Facebook or in person at 10:30 Sunday mornings. So have a wonderful rest of the week, and God bless.